Hi everyone and welcome to today's session. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join before we make a start. Hi everyone, welcome. We're just going to wait for a few more to join and then we'll make a start. Amazing. So I'm going to introduce the session quickly. So fantastic. Lovely to see a few more people join in. So today's session is lessons learned on applied advanced agentic AI. So just quickly, our code of conduct. So we just have a few simple rules. Just be aware of others, be patient and friendly, be respectful and welcoming, be open to all questions and viewpoints, be understanding of differences, and be kind to others and considerate, especially when using the chat facility. So just to introduce myself, my name is Rianne and I am the program manager for the London Reactor. What the reactor is it's a technical hub for learning and sharing where students, developers, and startups can connect globally or locally with a local community. We have a number of different reactors across the globe. As you can see here, we have some in the Americas with Toronto, New York, and Redmond, and then we also have some on the more east side. So we have Tel Aviv, we have Bangalore, we have Shanghai, and Sydney. So we have a number of reactors globally. We have 10. So if you want to find out more about what we do in our reactor, you can scan the QR code, but I'll also put the link in the chat. I'm going to hand back over to Jose now. If you have questions, feel free to ask them throughout the session. He's happy to answer them as you go, but there'll also be a designated time at the end to ask further questions. So yes, I'm going to hand over to Jose now.
Thank you, Rian. It's a pleasure. So, hello everybody. As Rian mentioned, I'm happy to receive your questions as they come. There is, I think, if you are connected through comments, I can read them. I cannot respond, but I will respond in a voice, which would be great. I like interactivity, so feel free to ask me as many questions as you want. So without further ado, let's begin to this session, which is quite packed, and we only have 57 minutes because we like to be on time. Um, Lessons learned on Apply Advanced Agentic AI. My name is José Luis Latorre. I work as developer community lead at Swiss Life, and I do not that much about AI. I most do my AI on weekends and evenings as a hobby. I'm a LinkedIn Learning author. I got 3 courses. I'm working on a 4th one, which is how to whisper to your agents, literally, basically. So it's about prompting for AI agents. And I have got some interesting courses that you may be interested. I'll share at the end my links, how to follow me. I'm also Microsoft MVP AI MVP, and I also lead the .NET Zurich user group as well, and also the global AI Zurich. So quite a bit of work outside work, but I like it. As I said today, we'll look again what are agents. Probably you never heard about that ever, right? Um, what's agentic AI? Some ideas I have or thoughts I have regarding agentic AI, what works and what not, which is what I hope you get out of this session. My a bit grain of my experience on these years, so having using agentic AI since 2023. Yep, and I'll explain a bit what is for me one of my favorite patterns, a commanding pattern. Also, what I call consciousness prompting, and it's quite a trend in the market when you have chat agents and more if they are that you can speak in a natural way. But we will see that in short. So, what's an agent? An agent is a digital entity um, that it does not act on your behalf or in behalf of others, but brings together reasoning abilities powered by the most advanced AI models available today, like Cloud 3, Opus Sonnet, GPT-4o, O3 Mini, 3o Mini. Well, you never know. Grok, Q. It's crazy. This modern world these days. These agents are equipped with a persona, a personality that determines how they react to situations or approach tasks, whether friendly, conversational, analytical, or precise, pragmatically efficient, agent's personality define and influences greatly its interaction and decision-making processes, which is quite important. They can, as mentioned, use its cognitive abilities to plan what they will do and how to achieve a task. And then they can use tools like this banana or this busy light, which we will see next. So I have that with me. I hope the green screen works. So this is busy light. It's connected by USB. We'll see how to interact with it later. And the first thing we should do is what is the normal usage versus agentic? So usually you use ChatGPT or you use a prompting engine, either LangChain, or you can use any tool, even a normal chat. You have a star, you make a request, and then the model thinks or the agent thinks, and then you get an output. That's the usual way. And agentic workflow is something more. It requires collaboration. So you can ask a complex task that requires different steps. Hey, hi Hema, hi Roman. And then you can write the starting, you can tell it, write the starting draft. You can tell it, hey, consider what areas needs revision and review for style, all in one single prompt. Or you can also create a workflow of different agents collaborating. And that's what we call the agentic workflow. And it looks like that. So you usually have two agents. One is the maker and the other is the checker. Usually in terms of academic in papers, you can look for a critic. There are quite a few papers calling this critic, and this increases the ability of the AI agents to deliver in accuracy in an incredible way. We will see that in the next slide, which is not mine. This is from Andrew NG. If you don't know him, he's one of the pioneers on AI when it was machine learning. He was teaching at Coursera. He had a deep learning um, course that I did back in 2014. Yeah, I was already learning that in 2014. It's been quite some years. And he is quite now in deeplearning.ai. You can check him, and he's delivering, creating great content, a lot of it for free, incredible courses. So coming back to this slide, it samples, this is a slide made last year already, comparing GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 performance. So we can see that the GPT 3.5 in the benchmark of human evil, I think is human evil, this is this benchmark. A benchmark is a set of different questions that measure the ability of a large language model or system to achieve a set of tasks. In this case, 100% would be its human or close to human perfect score. So GPT 3.5 was not that good, and GPT-4 was quite decent on a zero shot. Zero shot is we only give it, we don't give any example, just ask the model or the agent to do it, right? But if we apply agentic AI, these workflow or a bit more complicated workflows, they can achieve a lot more. So GPT 3.5 went from 48 to 95%. How is that? It beat completely GPT-4, a higher end model. Of course, we did the same with Agent Coder using GPT-4, and then it reaches 97. But you can see that using agentic AI reduces drastically the difference between different models. So you can see now why a lot of people are saying that agentic AI is the future, because it really raises the bar. It's, to me, the workflow we saw is kind of the same as human collaboration. So you have somebody writing and you have an editor that checks the output and says, oh, sorry, this is not good enough. Here is my feedback, improve. And this goes on until the editor or the critic approves. I hope it makes sense. And coming about numbers, just to give a bit of inspiration. I'm not sure if you have seen this Altera.ai. I think it's already a bit old. Already they made a paper and they put 1,000 agents in a kind of group chat in a Minecraft world. They gave them the ability to do whatever they wanted there and interact with other agents. And they ended up creating a culture, taking roles, assigning jobs, creating, well, commercial ecosystem. So it's pretty impressive what they managed to achieve. So if you have some time, I'd recommend you take a look at this video. I will share later the slides, so don't worry. You can take snapshots or write down these, but I'll be fast going through. So let's go. Agentic AI. For me, the selling point of agentic AI, and yeah, this is the semantic kernel logo, which is the technology I love, is a way to get AI agents to handle repetitive, complex stuff and tasks, so I can focus on the important task for me. And I want them doing it better than I could, or at least with a certain level of quality, so I can kind of trust them a bit. That's where agentic AI comes in, getting agents to work together efficiently without a ton of overhead or me having to be on the loop checking every single part that they do, so I can focus on real creative work, on what matters. So from this to this, yeah. So I've been quite a lot in the last year and a half creating my own tools, which I'll show you one of them today, um, to try to achieve that on the different parts that I do. But first of it, I would like to show you one of the most important achievements that was created, I think it around end of 2023 in the AutoGen project, which is the group chat. The group chat is what I'm showing you is not the AutoGen group chat, is a semantic kernel implementation. Hola Pedro, hi Alpha, Miguel, and Richard. Yeah, cool. It's cool having you. So the group chat is initially set kind of a room where I have a writer or any other kind of elements, agents in this room. Um, and then I have a writer agent in this case that is doing a task commanded by a human. It could be also commanded by another agent. And then the writer hands it over to another agent, which is the style reviewer. In this case, they are trying to write a text, obviously, and then the style provides some feedback and output, and then this happens n times. So this interaction is like, if, I guess a lot of people here are developers, it's like doing a PR. You do a PR, you write some code, you say, oh, now it's ready, you check it in, and then you have a colleague that says, you should use this nomenclature, sorry, can you change it? And then you go and improve it. So it's the same workflow that's going on here. And then at the end, hopefully it says, I approve, and then gets back to the human. So this is usually one of the ways to solve this. And this is the most common example that you will find in semantic kernel. But the inspiration, where it comes from, it's AutoGen, where you can have more, a lot more than one agent in the room collaborating together. And usually you have an extra agent, which is a chat manager. So whatever you do, the task goes to the chat manager and it determines who is going to take care of it. So in this case, it says, oh, it's the writer delivers, and then it goes to the reviewer, and yeah, again decides, oh, now it's going to go for the legal reviewer. So this would be the style reviewer, then legal, then style reviewer again, could be another kind of style, and then SEO reviewer, and yeah, and then maybe if it decides, it goes back to it. But you see where the problem is with this pattern, right? You can see that we have a bottleneck, which is a chat manager, right? Every single interaction has to go back and forth at least one time to the chat manager, and he has to handle all the conversation history and decide where do we go, what do we do now, right? Here is the catch. It becomes the middleman and it's managing everything, and to my opinion, it's not good. And then when you try to implement this in semantic kernel, if you do it like that, this will happen, which is not ideal. Why is this happening? Yeah, because you have by default a sequential selection strategy, and the documentation is not that clear. So you need to go into the code and check it out. And yeah, it's initially the group chat in Semantic Kernel. It's at the moment made to be two agent chat, which you can extend, but it's not that clear and not that easy and far very limited. So you can put a prompt at the side, which is the next agent, and you can kind of fix that, but you will end up with a construct which is kind of the same as the chat agent manager chat. Just it's not an agent, it's just a prompt. So still not ideal. I hope you understand, Eileen. And then there's also the AutoGen 2 agent chat, which is kind of what we can do with Semantic Kernel. So how this works in AutoGen, and I really like the AutoGen point of view, is that this is streamlined. You have a agent A and agent B. One is a maker, a writer, or whatever. It makes something, and then it has another agent that criticizes or checks if that is good enough to prove or not. And then this will happen in times until he approves. And then this will go to the summarizer, and the summarizer will take the information, the last article, because the user doesn't want all the text that has been generated or the chat history, and take that and just that and deliver that to the human or the other agent. So it can be any. This could be a fully automated workflow with no human in the middle. I hope that is clear. Any questions so far, please feel free to write in the chat. Good. All right. Then in AutoGen, we got iteration on that, which I love. When you want with one single prompt to do a full process, an agentic process, which can be completely isolated from a chat interaction, or at least you have only one chat interaction at the beginning, you can implement the sequential chat. I like to call it the sequential two agent chat. This is an autogen construct, which is you have a context and a message that enters. You have agent B and agent A. One is the maker, the other the checker. This goes on until one approves, and then when it is approved, it goes to the next task. And then so on, it's approved. So you can chain different tasks which can have laser focus and get out something that works really extremely well, and that's what it has to do. It requires fine tuning, but it's super powerful and it works really well. So one of my lessons learned is this is really a good thing to do. To put it in a bit of example, we could do a research, right? So we can understand not just with agents that do nothing. You can have a research phase, which you have a goal. Hey, research me. What are the agentic frameworks that make sense today? Until you can craft a clear vision on what you can do today as a developer. So you can have a search agent that this is its responsibility. Go do a search using a tool, and then ask the critic, is this good enough? Yes or no? Can I write the article, or should I research more? Or there is a aspect that I should also research, and then provide feedback and go back and forth until all the information is done, which we could keep it in the chat history or save it as a context. It's up to them. And then when it's approved, we deliver all the context and the information retrieved with the URLs to the right workflow that has a writer agent and a critic agent. And this will happen again. This would write the article in the tone and the structure, in the depth that we wanted. And the critic would criticize, it's good enough, it's not, it's clear, does it provide all the things? So it's doing everything that you would do, so you don't have to. I hope it makes sense, and now it's a lot clearer. And once it's approved, it finishes, it delivers that to the next agent, or it goes back to the human or the agent that triggered this agentic workflow. All right. For this, I participated in the Microsoft Hackathon last year, and I extended Semantic Kernel to add some extensions. But where this come from? This comes from a discussion I had with one of the lead engineers on the core team of Semantic Kernel, Chris Rickman, and I created a few things which are quite significant. He recommended me, hey, why don't you suggest some changes based on your experience? So it's kind of nice to be recognized. So thank you, Chris. He suggested me a few things which I added a bit on top of them, like for example, nested chat or tighten collaboration with the AutoGen team, which if you see it was July 12, 2024. And a bit later, well, I'm not sure you know, but semantic kernel is going to be set up as the core of the AutoGen. Not immediate, but I hope later this year, Q3 or Q4, this will happen. And the other thing is to develop agent and chat workflows as graph so we can track them and visualize them and create a lot more complex things. And of course, support different chat models and implement parallel asynchronous thing execution, which at the moment was not happening. It was quite one after the other, at least on the chat workflows. You can check that on this repository. I took that to heart and dedicated some time and implemented some extensions to implement some chat workflows from AutoGen in Semantic Kernel. So this is open source. You can go there and check the code. I think it's using few versions older semantic kernel. I updated and made them work with the version 1.37 already. And it works. Probably with the latest changes from semantic kernel, they just 2 to 3 weeks ago, they released in GA the agents and made breaking changes. So that may not work and needs to be adjusted, but this still works if you want to be curious. So the key components, I extended the AI agent chat. I extended and provided an interface, AI agent group chat, so I can build upon interfaces. And I re-implemented the agent group chat. Um, Basically, it's a wrapper of the agent group chat, but following this interface, the AI agent group chat. And then I implement a base agent that's an abstract class that is a base for custom chat workflows, which I implemented this element that I show you, the two agent chat, the sequential agent chat, and the sequential two agent chat, which does what you expect. Hey, Codemaster. Hey, by the way, I'm also from Switzerland, so from Zurich. Good to see you. So I think this is cool. I really like this, and this works. It's not supporting interaction work. So it's not the streaming, but the rest it's working pretty well. I'll show that in a moment. But meanwhile, one of the ways that if you like an application that works interactively with AI and can manage it and do actions, this is to me the way to go. This is one of, to me, the best patterns that we can use, the commanding pattern. When you have an agent that is managing and orchestrating other agents in a streamlined way. How? Let's see. So I have, in this case, a human, which is asking a commander agent. Usually for this, I use a reasoning model, which is kind of more smart. Then I can give another agent as a plugin. In this case, I'm trying to match the previous workflow I show you, but in this case, this would be an approach for a more interactive way, where there is an agent that uses other agents as plugins. Now, in Semantic Kernel, they have changed that. So you can add right away an agent as a plugin. But here, at the moment, before I think the 139, where they GA agents, you had to do the wrapping yourself. Now you can simply add an agent. So here we had a plugin that wraps the researcher agent that can do web search, web scraping, summarizing, and query generation, which is fair. And then we have the back and forth until the work is done. And then we have another one, which is the document writer that can create a document, write a document, read a document, and interact with the commander. And finally, you have a critic that has a panel of critics, which are, let's say, focused on what you want to criticize, like SEO reviewer, fact checker, so the models are not hallucinating facts, and then maybe a translator as well, if you want to put the data that you researched that could be in different languages in the same language. I hope it makes sense. Also, we saw that sequential two-agent chat, in this case in Semantic Kernel. So I implemented this as well. This is implemented, and this is another way to do the same, but without interaction. So you do a command, and then you get an output without being able to interact. The other one would enable as soon as there is any question, the commander would ask you, hey, sorry, I need these other things. So it's a different way. One is interactive, the other is completely automated, which particularly I like a lot. So let's see some code. I'm going to switch the screen and show you a tool I made, as I was mentioning. It's called Course Creator.
Hi everyone, apologies for the technical difficulties. We'll resume shortly. Just waiting for Jose to rejoin and then we'll restart shortly. Hi Jose, is your...
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen right now. I think I window entire screen, sharing, also sharing audio. I share my screen. Hi, everybody. Technical issues.
I think we can see you now.
I got a question from Kushal. So, how easy to provide HIL support? What do you mean with HIL, Kushal? And then about the first agentic AI use case, which approach would you use? Clearly, I would start with the two-agent chat, right? Creating this iteration. Yeah, human in the loop. Easy to provide HAL support. Yeah, that's a very good question. So usually that's when I use this commanding pattern, and it's on every interaction. The commanding is the one executing and doing everything, and then it comes back to you. So you are like permanently on the conversation. Yep, that's a way. Um, So I think you can see my screen. I can see, yes. So here I have the manager agent. I provide here all the different elements, so course definition agents. I got a chat workflow, which I create. So code definition chat workflow generator. I would tell, for example, review agent F4 is low, termination keyword approve, and then create a kernel, which the goal of this session is not to show you semantic kernel. So here I'm simply creating all the plugins so they can access different contexts of the application, so they can access different components and text, and like, for example, style reviewer, English, US copywriter, etc. So that will help me in crafting the text. And then I have everything wrapped up in some abstractions, some models that I do to decouple the UI, which I have here. And I think the best is that you see this working. I have to drag and drop these, but this is one of the tools I built. So I put here as a reactor put this, and then we create it. It should appear here, and then I'm loading these. I can collapse this section, and I'm by default in the course definition, which I want to edit. And this is Markdown editor that I built for. I use one. This is using, in my case, WPF, which I particularly like. And basically, it's using Markdown. And here is I can do a very clear request of what I want. Let's make this a bit big. So this is my chat section here. On it needs to be fun, and under 1 hour. Let's see if it does what I want, right? So I'm telling it to create a course on AI agents, need to be fun, under 1 hour for all skill levels. And yeah, take all assumptions. Okay, let me remove all the detach. Disable all breakpoints and continue. Yeah, course idea, fun with agents, agent unleash, about the course, beginner to advanced, description. Yeah. Apply changes and save the document. So I'm telling it what to do, and so I don't have to. And it's already updated. I could change it, and I can check, okay, engaging fun manner, demystify AI, fun with agents, unleash AI agents for everyone, 1 hour AI agents venture. Okay, doesn't, oh yeah, that's the title. And let's see, right, a bit the paragraph. So this is using kind of a lot of different agents to create a Bloom's taxonomy if you are in training, which I am kind of have to use for my courses that I do, right? And it's helping me to streamline and improve these. And also I have here on the learning objectives, it checks with the audience when it's defined. Here it's very wide, and also has agents specifically to research and propose different names. And yeah, I think for me it's quite useful. I'm trying to do that for different goals and different tasks that I usually do. And then I can go into create the outline and move on. So I could even go further in here and say, okay, and if you see, once I change the document, I'm changing the AI agent workflow, right? And could say, okay, and pose inspiring. I wanted to create inspiring and very fun. Uh, so here, the goal is to have fun. And at the moment, it's just a placeholder. And I'm executing the other, which will technically load the course definition, understand it, and propose. But it didn't do that in this case. So I could tell it so there's still some things you need to help it a bit. So I did a lot of effort with prompting because it's handling a lot of different tools. So one of the things here is you have to divide and conquer. So here there's still a lot of work to be done on these. So to streamline and put parts of the execution in very linear agentic workflows and mix what I show you, not do everything with these agent. For this, there are new tools appearing, which I'll mention in a moment. Yep, I like that. I like that. Now it's good. Yeah, hello AI agents, course overview, set the stage, exciting your understanding of AI agents and their magic. What are they in action? Build your own AI agent. Yeah, that's my dream. All right. Even some explanation on how to deliver that and approximate duration, which is pretty cool as I can measure and then work on these ideas and also discuss with somebody about the course. Hey, does it make sense to put that in 7 minutes? Yes or no? I want to add another chapter. So you can see a bit how this is streamlining the work I do, which usually it's a lot of thinking going on. And this helps me a lot. Um, Other thing that I did recently, and that's at the moment experimental, is a course outline processor, which you can see. So I have some learning starting in definition, or I can do even different parts to automate the course outline processor. But I think this is the best. I give it a bit target of the audience in this case, everything very detailed, and I create a learning item sequential workflow factory and, create the workflow as sequential to agent chat. So if we look at this, uh, here I simply create an sequential workflow factory. I use this two agent chat workflow configuration, which is part of what I did. And this is simply two agent chat workflow, which is everything on the open source code that I share, at least these implementations. I create the worker, the writer, and the critic, which you can say it's the checker, which I create the writer agent, create the reviewer agent, determine a keyword and the max iterations. In this case, I wanted these to go through 9 to do a thorough review process until it's approved. So the result is very, very good. And it was kind of good. And I could use pretty much what I saw here. So that's a bit what I did. I'm not going to execute that one because it would take a lot of time, but you can check the link I provided earlier or check into my GitHub. It's free and open source. So, let's go back. Let's see, Johnson, Carnegie. Have you integrated some of your agentic AI workflows into M365 apps like Microsoft Word or Excel? No, I have not. Um, I believe that we are able already to integrate semantic kernel agents there, but I still have not checked that part. I like to do that once they have released multi-agents as GA. At the moment, they have released single agent as GA in semantic kernel. So there's a lot of things coming regarding multi-agents, and I would say a lot of them are good. It's possible to do the same with Python. Yes, no. Uh, I think yes. What I show you, yes, definitely. You can do that. You can do that with LangChain. You can do that with AutoGen. AutoGen, a lot more things are possible because they are working with actors now, and it's a lot more streamlined. So yes, it's I cut the flow for the class. Uh, I understand cut the flow is Miguel Mokoske. I understand with what you mentioned, like this approve, right? When it's approved, it's good enough and it continues. Is that what you mean, Miguel? Okay, I go forward. Then, so uh, changing completely the topic, another thing that I really like is consciousness prompting. This is a trend where you add in your prompt for your agent a personality that gives a behavior more human, like kind of you relate to trigger some thought process that mimic somebody which is conscious. Yeah, sounds weird, but you can do that in two ways. One is to simulate human-like reflective and conscious reasoning. So you have strategies like chain of thought, self-consistency, tree of thought, react. Well, that's usually already done by all reasoning models. You have more ways to do that. Yeah, banana. Of course. And then you have the way to motivate the model to use techniques that make it sound more human, like telling it to use reflective comments, do contextual recall and paraphrasing, or to try to show empathy and emotional resonance to what the other person is speaking, or simply make clarification requests and elaborate hypotheses when it's speaking. Um, Speaking, talking to you. So coming back to the banana thing, I got another demo, which I collaborated a bit here. So the interface looks like that. This is using this real-time NatBot.NET SDK, which is a pretty cool control. I work a bit with some very nice developers from Texas that they created a base interface and an SDK to connect to the real-time API from OpenAI, and yeah, I joined it and collaborated and help to implement or collaborate a bit with the team. So that's very nice. So here, what I did is I'm telling it to behave as a minion, use minioness, and also to make the interactions more human-like. So I'm simply telling it to uh, show empathy, paraphrase the user, what he says, etc. So the first thing is I'm going to reveal the solution because I just did some changes. This model is here. I'm going to check. I'm not sure that you will hear everything. I share the audio, so sound settings. At the moment, I'm checking sound settings. It's going through the headset and and it's yeah, and it's a headset. So I hope you can hear it, and I will need you to help me. to see if that works for you and you can hear it. When I share my screen, I share the audio. All right, I'm having this here, and I start it. Hi, hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How can I assist you today?
Can you hear? No? Oh, nice. Okay, good, good. Yeah, I'm very good. So I'm here with in an audience. I'm giving some a talk on lessons learned on apply advanced agentic AI. So do you want to say something to the audience?
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your insights today. Advanced agentic AI is a fascinating topic. Agents like me can do a multitude of things, and I'm here to support you. If you
Oh,
need any assistance or would like to highlight a particular
oh
point,
wait, I'm going to stop this because that's not the agent I wanted to show you. That's another one. Uh, so window Minion. Sorry about that. Let me rebuild. That was clearly not the agent I wanted. You will see why in a moment. And there we go. Hello. Happy day. How are you?
me happy banana. How about you, Master? You full of giggles and sunshine today? Ooh, tell me.
I tell you, it's a very sunny day here in Zurich, and it's a fantastic moment. I'm sharing. Um, uh, I hope it's an interesting talk on advanced agentic AI. Some lessons learned, like for example, making you. So I'm here with an audience. Do you want to tell the audience something? Please be my guest.
Ooh, cheeky AI talk. Yeah. Minion here says, hello, audience. AIs like me may be mischievous, but we love helping and learning, like bananas. Keep exploring new ideas and having fun. Also, don't forget banana. Enjoy the talk.
All right. Uh, I see a lot more eloquence here than the last time we talked. I think you have been upgraded. Maybe.
Maybe. Minion now even.
Okay. Sometimes it cuts the voice, but yeah. Can you say what you say before? We didn't fully hear you.
Oopsie. I said, Minion.
Okay. I think we have maybe a problem here. Sometimes the model fails and cuts short when it's speaking.
Oh, sorry, master. Bananas. Internet playing tricks. Me try best to talk clear and fun, okay? No more cutoffs. Promise? Banana.
Okay, we can see now here that the fun part of this agent, it's overtaking the consciousness prompting a bit, but you can kind of feel a bit how it's going through, right? So yeah, Minion, what can you tell about the conversation we had, and how do you feel?
We talk about sunny Zurich, fancy AI talks, and even some cheeky tech hiccups. Woohoo! Me feel super duper, bringing smiles and giggles to master and friends. Banana-tastic. Let's keep the fun rolling. Yay!
All right, thank you so much. We are going to close it here. So yeah, thanks so much.
Hello, master. Minions say thank you too. Had so much fun. Woohoo! Come back soon for more giggles and bananas. Bye bye.
All right. So that's it. I think it's pretty cool to do that. To add it more human touch, and as soon as the models evolve, they can follow the instructions. a lot better. And I only gave it, I mean, you saw that. So if we go there, it's use reflective comments to show understanding, occasional recall context and earlier mentions and discussions, paraphrase what the user says in a silly or exaggerated way, in this case, using its personality, and show empathy and emotional resonance, as well as playful clarification questions if confused. And yep, you're still a Minion, but more emotional and connected one, which I mean, I think it was interesting to see the difference. I recommend you to try this. This is still not public. I will publish that as soon as I clean up a couple of things, but this will probably go live in 1 or 2 weeks. All right. There's still a couple of more things which are coming from Semantic Kernel team. Aside from the multi-agent framework, it's a process framework that's supposed to be live, I guess, in Q3 or Q4. And yeah, basically it's the ability to define agentic workflows together, joining steps that make the processes, which we can follow patterns, and we can define things like that, the start of the process, an introduction step, user input step, like human in the middle, right? And then a chat response step, maybe using or not tools. And as soon as this is generated or checked, we could go to exit the step and end the process. Uh, why is this approach so good? I see a lot of power. Is scalability, flexibility, loop cycles, parallelization, clear visualization. It's based on graph theory, so you can see everything as a set of different nodes chained together. But I think it's super easy. With that, you can debug it visually and has enhanced AI integration. Um, there is already one predecessor with each land graph was doing that, and I think this is the way to go. And it's completely graph event driven and also powered by the actor pattern in semantic kernel and also autogen, which is pretty cool. Still, I think it's still too verbose. So, for example, for this the most simple demo um, in the semantic kernel code examples, which, by the way, I implemented the most simple demo, the demo 01 for this, if it's still there, because it's changing a lot. So you have to do a lot. You have to declare the steps. You have to chain and configure each one of them. So on the input event, you have to, when it finishes, send the event to the start step from the start. Then on the start, when you get a result, uh, you send the event to the next step and so on, right? And I think we could do better. I did a PR, which you can, it's closed at the moment. It may be revisited. It's 10,002. You can check my GitHub is JOSLAT, and I propose these. Well, I think it's a bit more fluent syntax. I can start with step, then do this other step, and then do more step, and finally do this. This is very simple implementation because it's not covering like bifurcations on the workflow, but I think it's a lot nicer, and we could add some configuration on it if we had different bifurcations. But yeah, just some suggestions. I'm trying to contribute to the semantic kernel repository in this case. But if that was long, imagine how much code is needed for this. This is one of the examples, so you can go and check it and come to me, hey, Jose, that's a lot. Yeah, and that said, I like to thank you. I think we are almost 5 minutes. We have some time for questions. So thank you, Microsoft Reactors. It has been a pleasure being here. I will put here some links so you can follow or connect with me here, LinkedIn or X. I'm still there. I probably will be my GitHub, where the code or part of the code I share it is, and when I release the code for this chatbot Minion, I will share it there. And here is some links for my LinkedIn trainings, which you're curious in semantic kernel, this is quite recognized, and people are quite happy doing that, and it's still quite relevant. Well, a lot what I was teaching there is it was quite experimental.
Thank you so much, Jose. That was so informative and very useful. I feel like most of the questions were asked throughout. So thank you so much for hosting today's session. To everyone watching, this will be available for you to watch on the YouTube channel, which you're currently watching it on. So if you want to watch back the session, please feel free. But thank you again, Jose, for today's session.
It was my pleasure. Thank you, Ryan, for having me.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.